you've had a great Easter. What I've been doing over Easter while I've had a bit of time off is I've been looking at Instagram and all the great revision materials that you've been making. However, I think there's three common mistakes that I've spotted that when we're revising and using these cue cards that we can correct. So I've just created this little video for us to have a look at so we can see where we can improve our recall in those exams. The three common mistakes. Number one, all the cue cards I'm seeing, or most of the cue cards I'm seeing, have too much text. Okay, and we'll go through that in a bit more detail later in the video. Second thing, there's not enough visuals, so we don't have enough images and things like that on our cue cards to help our memory recall. And number three is the secret, which I'm going to keep at the end, which is my number one top tip for producing top recall and revision materials. Okay, the first thing I'm going to look at is the first mistake, which is too much text on the cue cards. So here we've got some lovely examples of some well-presented cue cards, but they've got one major problem. There's too much on them. The writing's very small. It's going to be very difficult to recall all this information. So what I want you to try and do is focus on something which I call the rule of 7. Now 7 hasn't just been picked out by any magical number. Okay, the rule of 7 basically is to do with your short-term memory. Generally, people only handle about 7 pieces of information at any one time. Okay, some of you might have a great memory that allows up to 9 maybe, and some of us might have one that's around 5. But generally, 7 is a good number to plumb for. So when you're making your cue cards, always try and make sure that you have about 7 facts on each card. That should limit the amount of text and also make sure that you're working with your memory. Okay, the second mistake people are making is they're not taking advantage of the brain's ability to visualize and use information, and we're not using enough visuals. Okay, so what I want you to try and do is to take advantage of your brain's ability to work in like this visual field. Is that for every single cue card, I want you to use what we call the rule of 1. On every single cue card and revision material, I would like to see one image that's annotated that's going to help you recall and use information in an exam. So a lot of exam questions have images as part of the exam question, so it's always a good idea to have these images as part of the revision process. So here we have got a good example, and this is what I'd like you to try and aim for. Okay, now this is mistake number 3, and this is the biggest mistake people are making on a day-to-day basis when I see the cue cards, is what they're doing is they're not personalizing their revision. What they are doing is acting like a photocopier and just replicating what they see in a revision guide, and they're not personalizing the information. This is massively going to impact your ability to recall it in the exam. So what we have here on the right hand side is some really good examples how they've tried to take and personalize revision. So what we've got here is the example of nitrogen, and you've got someone trying to lift something that's really heavy, because nitrogen is a heavy gas, and this is a property of nitrogen which is hopefully going to stick in someone's mind because they've personalized their learning. So what I want you to try and do in your exam is for each cue card, use the rule of 1 and try to have one personalization of the information on that cue card. Okay, now in terms of personalization, you can come up with one example. Okay, or you can come up with one association or link. So here's a look at nitrogen of lifting heavy weights and nitrogen being a heavy gas, and they've made that link and connection in the brain, and hopefully that's going to strengthen their recall going forward. Now this is the number one mistake that people make, so please make sure that you're not doing this and you are taking a little bit more time to personalize your learning to maximize your gains in your recall. Now I know some of you might be saying, well, I've already made my cue cards, how can I do this? So for example, if you've got too much text, what you can do is, I'm not saying rewrite them, go back over your cue card and highlight the key term. Those are the key terms that you're really going to focus on getting from your recall on your cue cards. The second one, not enough visuals. It's probably quite easy just to get a pencil and put on a little visual somewhere that's going to help you remember some of that information, or make a new cue card that goes and connects with the cue card that you've already made that has those visuals that will help you. Third thing, again, personalization. If you've got a small little gap on your cue card, you can maybe do an example or a personalization there, or just visually or mentally think of a personalization that you can use to help you remember that information. So it's not necessarily something that has to be written down, it's just something that you need to be aware of going forward. Hopefully these ideas have helped you correct some of the common mistakes that a lot of you are making with your revision materials to try and improve the gains in your recall. If it has helped you, please like the video, subscribe, and click the notifications button for more information and updates on new videos. And if there's anything that you'd like me to focus on in terms of helping you out, please get in touch and make a comment below. Thanks for watching.